And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Put your thumbs up and say it's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, Tickety Boo, everything's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, son. Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo! Welcome to another episode of Tickety Boo. It's that time of year again. New year, new me. Or as I like to call it, the season of unrealistic expectations and inevitable disappointment. In this episode, we're cutting through the New Year's resolutions nonsense and getting real about what actually works. Forget the crash diets and the overnight transformations. Let's talk about small, meaningful changes that stick. So grab your leftover Christmas chocolates, settle in, and let's start the new year with a bit of honesty and maybe a laugh or two. Well, here we are again in the Tickety Boo studio. I have Ian and Iona with me, and we are talking New Year's resolutions, new year, new me, and all that kind of stuff. And why is it that we feel that we have to leave it to the 1st of January to start to make changes in our life? Are New Year's resolutions a good thing? Are they a bad thing? Do we stick to them? So I'd just like to have a bit of a conversation with you today on it, guys. Where do you stand with New Year's resolutions? First of all, do you even do them?
I don't, but what I do love to do is have a word for the year. So instead of saying, I'm going to give up this, or I'm going to do that, or set an unrealistic expectation about something I've had no intention of doing for the previous 12 months, or maybe 11 months at that point, I come up with a word or like 3 words that are going to be my focus for that year. So it makes it much more easier. It's much more expansive. And, you know, some years I've just had the word ease. Other times I've had, you know, expansion and flow. Like you can have fun with it and get creative, or it can be a turn of phrase. So I love that. Mm-hmm. And also it's just the way it's like, you know, it comes back to so any decisions I'm making, whatever choices I'm doing, it's like, okay, remind myself, let it be easy, or is this expansive? And I find that this whole concept of it's like waiting until tomorrow to do something that we could actually just do today. If you want to change those habits, then do it now, not January the 1st. Oh, I'll wait. And then it's almost like I'll be happy when. And I think we set ourselves up for failure. And then, I mean, we all know the statistics about the gym. Like if you're going to the gym regularly, the one time not to go to the gym is in January.
Fully enough. I'll come back to you in a moment, Ian, because this will just go. I was in the gym earlier in the week, and a guy said to me, it'll soon be January and all the new ones will be here, and they'll last about 6 weeks, and the gym's going to be really busy, and then he goes, the gym goes back to normal, and I can get on a treadmill again. And he's like, it's been like that for years and years and years. You know, I think the gyms must be rubbing their hands together in January with all of the new sign-ups. So Ian, where do you stand on resolutions? Do you do them? Are you a believer in them?
I don't really do them. If I decide I'm going to do something, I do it. I'm quite impulsive. Once I've got my head around the fact I'm going to do something, I'll come up with a bit of strategy. Probably don't do as much thought as a lot of people do, and then I dive into it.
I think that's perfect, though. I think that's the way it should be.
But the thing is, if I say I'm going to do this in 3 months' time, I'm going to do this in 2 weeks, and by that time I've come up with another 6 things I want to do.
So do you feel
totally
like
forgotten.
By saying we're going to do it in New Year, we're just really giving ourselves to stay stuck in the unhealthy behaviour we're doing for just a bit longer?
Yeah, you kind of justifying it a bit longer.
Yeah, you know. In the new year, I'm going to get dead healthy, but so far I've got 2 weeks left, so I'm going to eat everything in the house before I can do.
Yeah, and I think this whole new year, new you attitude, it's like, well, no, you are amazing as you are. Like, what is it you want to change? And I think it's that, like, it's not about reinvention. It's about making small incremental steps. It's like bite-sized bits. Because I'll tell you, when I've made like huge sweeping changes, it doesn't last.
Yeah,
and there's a process within psychology where we break it into bite-sized chunks, little by little. It is literally one step at a time, but you chunk it in. It's like you can have a weekly focus, and you just move the needle, because we all want such fast results so soon. And I have to say, it wasn't quite a January thing. I think it was a February thing, maybe 2 years ago. I joined a very a great small gym, and it was amazing, but you had to be going 3 times a week. It was this whole like get fit and healthy, and I was, into that, and it was brilliant. But then I realized to maintain that level of fitness, I actually needed to be going 3 to 5 times a week. That wasn't it wasn't sustainable. And so it was just like, so I'm kind of back to doing more what I did prior to that. But it was a great jump start for the reason I was doing it. So it actually did work, but it wasn't like, that just wasn't sustainable.
So that's what we tend to do, though, isn't it? We go, I want to fix everything and I need to change everything massively. And if you look at the stats, I mean, the stats support this. They basically say that 80% of New Year's resolutions don't make it to February. They just don't make the cut at all. And that's because I think people make the goal too big.
So rather than focusing on the big win, we focus on a series of little wins that are going to get us to where we want to be.
So, flippantly saying, you're not going to go from eating 5 Toblerones and 3 kebabs a week to running a 26k or a marathon. You actually just want to go, I'm going to start eating more healthily, and I'm going to start going to the gym. Yeah, rather than I'm going to train 3 days a week, I'm going to eat a salad every day, and then I'm going to do 10,000 steps. You just, I'm not saying, there's anything wrong with that, but you got to be real. You're just not going to, it's too big, isn't it? The brain's going to fiercely resist you at every step on that journey.
Well, when it gets painful, it's instant pain. Yeah. And so just, like you said, just get yourself to the gym. And when we're talking about people going to the gym, I'd never sort of say, don't have that as New Year's resolution. Because just getting out there and looking after your physical body is brilliant. I'm a massive advocate of going to the gym and looking after yourself. Yeah. But just set yourself realistic expectations.
Yeah, because I think, like for me, like this year I've got back into going to the gym again, and I have done it pretty much religiously 3 times a week. But if you have been brutally honest with me and say, Andy, do you enjoy it? No, I hate it.
Oh, really?
I don't like the gym. I get bored. My brain gets bored in the gym. I can be there doing the weights, and I know it's doing me good, and I can follow the training plan, but my brain's doing everything to reason to leave the gym. I much prefer to be walking up a hill or riding a bike, but the gym, I'm able to accommodate it into my busy life. I can go to the gym for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, do what I need to do. But if I'm honest, I don't enjoy it. I enjoy the benefits that come from it, but I don't like the gym.
I train with a friend. So it takes twice as long to train because we've got to do 2 lots of everything. But that keeps me going because I enjoy
social.
the interaction.
Yeah, it's
so
social.
I make it, as much social as I do about
what I've just done, and I've recognised this is, so I like to go to the gym early in the morning. I've got my training done before the day starts, up at 6 and in the gym for 7 and out at the gym by 8. But I've actually just been brutally honest with myself. I don't like dark mornings, and I don't like scraping the ice off the windscreen in my shorts and in my T-shirt. And I'm being honest with myself. I'm going, I can see that if I keep following this pattern, I will procrastinate about doing something that I already don't enjoy that much, although I enjoy the benefit of it. So I could feel that coming along, and what I've just done is I flicked my diary around. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to start going to the gym about 11 when it's a bit lighter. Hopefully the car's defrosted, and I've just created my space, because I'll be kidding myself if I think that I'm going to stick to what I'm doing right now when the mornings are lighter and are warmer. And I think that's where we've got to be real with ourselves, isn't it? And I think that's where a lot of New Year's resolutions, the people have just not been true to themselves and kind of know they're kidding themselves on a bit.
And then they set themselves up for
failure.
A failure. There we go. I never followed through on anything. I can't do it. Who am I? And I think the thing is, as we've said already, make it realistic. Like if you're planning to go from 0 to 26k, there's actually a reason they call it from 0 to 5k. Like, is it from the couch to 5k or whatever? It needs to be in small, doable things. So if you can't get to the 26k by the end of January, you're going to give up. But maybe by the end of January, you can do 5k. And it's finding times that, because when I used to go to the gym a lot, I couldn't go late afternoon or evening because it would wake me up too much. So I do like to get it done in the morning. I have noticed when if I haven't gotten there comes a point where I'm not going to go in the day.
Yep.
It's like, it's this balancing act. And also in one of my many careers, I trained as a Pilates instructor. I can do all this at home too.
Yeah.
And so I want to get back into that habit again. And I think it's finding something that fits with your lifestyle. I like to go walk up a hill, far better. Like yesterday, I managed to get out with my son and we went walking up and down hills, and it was great. I feel brilliant. But I think the thing is, if it sounds like we're plugging fitness or bashing fitness. I think if this is going to be one of your goals now, make it doable. It's like, you know what, I'm going to do 5,000 steps.
Well, the thing is, I think you've got to be brutally honest with yourself as well. If you're saying, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, but you have no space in your life. You're already running around at 100 mile an hour with no time to yourself and you're already exhausted. You're kidding yourself on. Either you've got to make radical changes in your life to create space for the resolution to fit, because if you don't, the motivation to keep going with the resolution is going to burn out really quick, isn't it? Because motivation doesn't last long.
It doesn't. And I think what Ian said, I think is crucial. If you want to make a change, do it now. Because also we want to train our brains to go, oh yes, you follow through. Like the person we break the most promises with is ourselves. It's not other people, it's ourselves. And so if we make a decision and then our brain will be going, you never follow through.
Yeah, so can you understand why we do this? We do this waiting until the 1st because we call it the fresh effect. Yeah. So the fresh effect is it's a new day, it's a new year, it's a new change. I wipe the slate clean, and you'll see the fresh effect loads. People move house, they move job, they end a relationship, they start all over again. But we can do the fresh effect any day we decide to do it. The day you could wake up tomorrow and go, today is the day that I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to make changes in my life. Why is it we wait until the clock strikes midnight on the 31st and the next day we're going to wake up and we're suddenly the gym bunny that's down there every day and doing all of the exercise? Because let's be honest, what's changed? Nothing. Nothing's changed apart from you've decided to start doing some stuff. And you've ramped your motivation up because you've told yourself you're doing a New Year's resolution. And it doesn't work, does it? It just doesn't work. So I think what you have to do is focus on what you have achieved across the year, even if it's small amounts, even if you've just decided to go to the gym once. Yeah. But there's a great thing about if you're going to start setting resolutions, I say this to my clients in the therapy room, optimize your life to help you have the success that you want to bring about. So I know we keep going back to the gym, but that just seems to be one of those really big things that people can probably resonate with. If you drive to work and you do your job and then you drive home to get your gym kit, there's a high chance you're not going to make it to the gym because your brain is lazy, it's going to want to conserve energy, it's not going to want to do the training session. Be honest with yourself, optimize your environment, drive to work with your gym kit in the boot of the car.
Yeah.
And go straight from work to the gym, because if you walk in the house, you'll find another excuse. The kids will get involved in something, your partner's going to want something, then suddenly like, it's too late, I'll go tomorrow. So I think you've got to think about things on a much bigger wavelength.
Oh, yeah. And as you say, fitting it into a schedule that works for you. I mean, for me personally, going back to the gym again, I train 7 o'clock every night. And the reason for that is because me and Louise work together all day. And I'll go out the house and we'll have separate. She'll sit and read a book, watch a box set, does whatever she does. I go to the gym and I come back and it leaves me detached from the working day by the time we get to bed.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that's why I do it that way, because I feel that we need that separation, and it's much easier that way to stop little comments about work creeping into the bedroom and things like that.
Yeah. So it's like when we set these rules for ourselves, isn't it? These rules don't work. I must go to the gym 3 days a week. It's a bit like I mustn't eat the cake. What do we end up doing? Yeah, eating the cake. Our mind wants to break rules. So if you kind of set in these resolutions up as rules, you have to be, unless you're really like super disciplined, natural, you're just going to deviate away from this, aren't you?
And the other thing, I think, rather than not allowing something, then bring a reward in instead. Instead of saying, I'm not going to have that cake, but what are you going to have?
Yeah. Or if you go and do the gym session, the reward is, you can do this, because it is a little bit of sort of carrot and stick.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like me, I love my food, and I like most people, the foods that aren't always the best for you. So my trade-off is I train 3 times a week, so I don't have to completely compromise my diet because there's balance. I didn't want to give up the food. Well, okay, if you don't want to give up that, then you need to keep this, and then it kind of removes the guilt. So there's got to be this balance. And the other thing is why are you doing it? What's your why behind the resolution?
Well, that's right, mate. Some people say, I want to train. I want to go to the gym because I've got a wedding coming up. I want to look a certain way, or I've had an unfavourable result. I want to still be here for my grandchildren, and that why is super strong.
Yeah.
But then you could have another why, which is I don't know. I want to look like somebody in that magazine.
But the thing is that why,
I think
it changes, doesn't it? So, if you're like, I'm going to work out like nobody's business for my wedding dress, when they've achieved the goal of getting in the wedding dress, normally the rules are immediately abandoned afterwards because it's like mission accomplished.
So I think, are you saying it's about lifestyle changes?
Well, I think the why has to be more about, I just want to be a healthier person.
Yeah.
And, a healthier person doesn't go from doing nothing to going to the gym 3 days a week. A healthier person goes, I walk the dog a bit longer, or I start walking with a friend, or I start being more active, and maybe I go to the gym once. Because here's the thing, if you've not been to the gym for a while, you've not worked out for a while, it hurts.
It really does.
Sucks. And the older you get, the more it hurts. As soon as you start to feel pain, the brain's going to be like this really sucks, and we want to conserve energy, and I want to move you away from it. So what people do is they'll overexert themselves, they'll overtrain, they'll injure themselves, then they'll knacker themselves out, and then they'll not go back to it. My argument is, I would rather you go into the gym for 20 minutes and do a light walk on the treadmill and get into the routine of turning up to the gym, doing 20 minutes and not coming out feeling like you've done 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. So you're coming, with endorphins flowing, and you feel good for yourself, and you build yourself up.
That feeling of feeling good, it's addictive.
It is.
Yeah. If I'm training, I don't want to go home and crack a beer open.
Yeah.
Eat a bag of crisps. I feel good, and I want to stay.
And that's just made me think, is how much time do people spend scrolling on social media, and suddenly people have lost like 2-3 hours. Well, maybe stop doing that and replace it, because we get that false dopamine hit from scrolling social media, and start to bring in healthier habits, getting to the gym, getting outside. But also some of these resolutions, it can be about taking up a hobby, it can be about learning, it can be about it's anything that you want to do that will improve your way of life, improve your well-being, your health, your peace of mind. It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, holding yourself accountable. It's an important life skill, full stop. So if you set yourself a goal without going down the road of being too self-critical or too, setting impossible expectations, hold yourself accountable. If I'm saying I'm going to do something, there's got to be a reasonable expectation to give it a go.
Yeah.
Because it's natural discipline. Isn't it?
And something's got to give as well. For everything you take on in life, you're going to have to let go of something else. Yeah. Because, if you're a person that really likes their lion in the morning, and you want to go to the gym 3 times a week in the morning, you can't do both. And you have to be honest with yourself and go, okay, well, if I'm going to commit to doing this, and, my why is because I want to be healthier, what are the things in my life I'm going to have to let go of? Can I not maybe go out as much socially, or, I'm not going to stay behind in the office 2 times a week because it's actually important that I get, I get to these, these classes or whatever it is.
Or it could be like, okay, I'm not going to go to the pub we're in Britain, like a lot of people after work, it's you go to the pub for a drink. It can be, it certainly was a decade ago or 2 decades ago for me. It's like, okay, well, instead of going to the pub, I'm going to go to the gym first, or and finding somebody to do it with. I know in my 20s I used to go running, but I used to go running with a friend, and we would talk the whole time. It was brilliant.
Or go running with a club.
Yeah.
There's clubs for all this, and if there's other things that could be happening in your life when you're looking to draw a line under the previous year and find positive change. Maybe socialising is one of those things.
Yeah.
Maybe social interaction is an important part of that. So go where you've got support.
I think if you're doing it on your own, you're going to need some pretty determined willpower to stay in it. But if you've got accountability, like somebody else is expecting you to turn up, or maybe you've hired a PT who's going, where are you? You're not here. That definitely helps you if you're looking to make change in your life. You feel like somebody's observing you and you're going to let not just yourself down, you're going to let them down as well. Yes. That can help you break that inertia of going from doing nothing to kind of doing something. Like I quite like Ian's strategy of, you've combined the social element with training. Yes, it takes twice as long, but you're filling your cup up with 2 things rather than just the one. But I think people have to be brutally honest with themselves. You don't go from doing nothing to doing everything. You make it small changes. Small changes remain consistent, and when they stay consistent, then you create big changes in your life. Everyone thinks we need to create massive change to create massive shifts, and we don't. It's the tiny things. So like if you're not going to the gym right now, or you're not going for a walk, if you go for a walk once a week, or you go to the gym once a week, that's 100% improvement on what you were doing before then.
And I mean, coming outside of the gym for a different, maybe smoking, instead of going, right, I'm going to stop smoking on the 1st of January. How about say, well, over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to cut down from 20 to 10.
Caffeine.
And then after that,
you can do that with cutting back. I have to say, I love that you've recognised that it's something you don't enjoy doing, so you've found a way to get yourself to go there. I can't do that, so I have made sure that when it's the gym, I'm going to the classes I like. I have to make it sure that it's something that I enjoy doing and look forward to, and I know I feel good after. So the gym I had joined, it's very social, so there's a place I can have a coffee. A lot of the same people are going there, because I know that suits me. Because I have to make it enjoyable, or I am not going to go.
So I need to be honest with myself. My brain will go, just go and have a coffee. I can still go, I went to the gym. I didn't actually get into the gym. I think that brutal honesty with yourself going, I know if I give myself that space or that excuse, part of me is going to take it and it's going to run with it. And don't kid yourself on. Go, well, is there something that I can do that's going to optimise my environment to make it easier for me to go and do the thing? Remove those paths of resistance that get in the way. If you don't like getting up in the dark in the cold mornings and the thought of doing that, going to the gym, don't convince yourself that you're just going to use dogged determination to drive you through the winter months to do that. Pick a different time. If you can, go at a different time. When's your energy at its best? Are you a morning person, you afternoon person, are you an evening person? Try to do the things that are right for you at the time when you know your energy and your drive is at its highest. If you're not a morning person, you hate the mornings, how long do you think you're going to continue getting up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym for? Probably not that long. At some point you're going to fail. But I think, we kind of come back to the key point here is that we don't need to wait to the 1st of January to make the changes. We can actually do. I would actually argue if you decide today or tomorrow to do it, the likelihood of you continuing to do it is much higher, because it's almost like there's an unconscious expectation that New Year's resolutions don't last anyway. So what the hell?
And you've not found a load of time to find excuses not to do it, or for me another 10 things to start.
Yeah. And please don't do that whole go and buy a gym membership. The amount of gyms that are sat there with members that have never stepped their foot in, start going for a walk first. Yeah. Start doing stuff and be consistent with it, and then go, do you know what? Joining a gym now makes sense because I've been consistent in doing my walks, doing my workout at home, doing the things. Then go and put the money into the gym. Don't just think because you've signed on a dotted line.
They have you stuck there for 12 months, whereas I purposely joined a gym where I could give a month's notice because I travel a lot and I know I don't like being tied in for a month. So yeah, I refuse to join a gym where the membership is 12 months for that reason.
And the trouble is when you're stuck with a gym membership for 12 months and you're not going, you know you're not going, you know you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder that it's something, it feels like a failure. It's something else to kick yourself about.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, totally and utterly. So I think, looking at appreciating what you've managed to achieve, looking at your why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it because you want to become healthier? Really get into the why, and then don't get obsessed in the outcome. Just be in the process of just doing consistently small things, small things, and build up to doing it. And then, once you break that magic 3-week number of being consistent, the percentage of success is that much higher.
I've also just thought of another way. Instead of it being a New Year's resolution where it's going to be like, it's drastic change like this, it could be, this year I'm going to read more books. This year I'm going to travel more. This year I'm going to learn a language. So it's not such that like January 1st I'm off to the gym. It could literally be, you know what, normally I just do this one particular kind of holiday, but I'm going to go somewhere more so there's different ways we can expand our well-being, because I'm very aware that we've just focused
about
a
exercise,
lot on the gym.
yeah, and
But
little
it's-
things like to make sure you read the books. If you are a person that has physical books, you like a book rather
love a
than
book.
a Kindle. What I used to do was I would stack the books up that I wanted to read on my bedside table. So I looked at them every time I woke up and every time I went to bed. They were there as a reminder, but it was also really easy for me to grab the
Yeah.
book. If you've got to go and hunt on the bookshelf or wherever for the book, you're not going to do it. And that kind of feeding back into what I said about optimizing your environment.
I'm someone
to
who
make
always
it
has a
easy.
pile of books next to their bed, and usually I'm reading a couple at the same time. But yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. Or for somebody who is traveling a lot and wants to read more, then you get a Kindle, because you go, I can't
Carry
books
books.
are too heavy.
Yeah.
So there's always a way, and I think for me these lifestyle changes rather than New Year's resolutions, rather than this new you attitude, it's like, okay, what can I do that's going to improve my way of life in general?
Yeah.
And that covers all the topics, whatever the shift is going to be.
So if you were going to take on something new for the new year, not a resolution, just something that you would like to do yourself, or something you would like to change, what would that be?
Oh my gosh, I don't know that I have anything I want to change. I'm always reevaluating what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So for me, it's a continuous process. How can I make my workload easier? Because I'm self-employed, entrepreneurial, writing books. As you know, I have had a habit in the past of taking on too many projects or saying yes to too many things. So actually part of my ongoing well-being practice is only to do those things that I'm drawn to, that light me up, so that work I don't need a holiday from my work.
Okay, so if we flip the question and do it in a slightly different way, we're rapidly heading towards the end of 2024. What would 2024 version of you say to the 2023 version of you? What to let go of or change? Obviously, you've got hindsight now to help you, but if you could have that conversation, what would you
Simplify.
Yeah, love it. Make life easier.
Simplify, make life easier, and if you have your own business, delegate where you can. And also, I know that there's a whole bunch of stuff we do that we don't need to be doing. Like, we spend so much time, time blocking is another great saver. Definitely, I would say to simplify.
Simplify your life. What about you, Ian?
I don't think there's so much I want to change. There's lots and lots I want to achieve. And if anything, it would be about renewed focus on sort of achieving those goals that I've set for myself. If I was going to be brutally honest, I think if I was going to change anything, it would probably be how I commit myself to different things. So yeah, I think that would be.
I think you should simplify.
Or simplify.
Or simplify, yeah. I think that I'm with you. I own it on simplify. I don't know if that's a point in life that you get to where you're just looking for a calmer, simpler life, where you're probably just looking for less stress and you're looking for more peace. I know for me, I feel my days of trailblazing, of setting the world on fire, I'm just not driven by that anymore. I kind of quite like doing what I'm doing, but I want it to be simpler, if that kind of makes sense. What I'm saying is, of course, I've still got things I want to achieve, but I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I don't want to be really stressed out by what I'm doing.
And I want to, and along with simplifying, I think, and seeing the people that you really care about. So not trying to, because we've got lots of acquaintances, and as we know, I've lost my brother this year. And what I would say is now I want to see my remaining siblings more, and I want to see my nieces and nephews more. So I'm actually going to incorporate that more and make that a priority. And my niece actually just got engaged, so that's amazing. We've got a wedding coming up in 2026.
So like I was talking about earlier, in order for you to be able to take that on, something needs to give way.
So I have to simplify.
So you simplify your life to accommodate that.
So I can travel more.
So you can do more.
Yeah.
Something has to go.
Yeah.
For something. It's a trade-off, isn't it? It is that.
And the reason I say I have to travel more is because my family is so spread out. I do a lot of travelling anyway, but now I really want to see family. So simplify so I can travel more to see family.
And I think that would be a really good thing that our listeners could do. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but what would you say back to a version of you a year ago, knowing what you know now? What are the lessons? Look at the lessons learned before you start shifting your resolutions, because there might not quite be in. I don't want one of these situations where you went, I want peace, but I want to start a new business and do this and do that, and you're like, hang on a minute, those two don't really support each other, if that kind of makes sense. So I think you have to evaluate what's important.
And there's another thing we can do with this. So it's not necessarily about New Year's resolutions, but if somebody's had an idea about something they want to do, maybe it's actually to go back and study, learn a new skill. If you look back, and as opposed to what would I tell the version of me 12 months ago, well, actually, if nothing's changed and there's nothing actually, what are you going to do now that you want the version of you in a year to have accomplished? So it's not necessarily about a new behavior, but it's like that course you've wanted to do, that place you've wanted to go. Because I know time goes by so fast. And that is something that I have learned with losing my brother. It's like, okay, I've got to make every moment count, but that doesn't mean I have to go trailblazing to make every moment count. What's important to me is being with people that I love and that love me. It's being with family. It's having a simpler life. It's not being so run on adrenaline and the go, go, go.
Yeah, make memories.
Yeah, memories.
Experiences.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
experiences
what it's all about,
that you remember. Things, not, experiences always outweigh things, don't they? You're going to remember the experiences for a long, long time. Give yourself more experiences, positive experiences. Yeah. Well, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I'm off to not do my New Year's resolutions. Thanks very much for listening. As always, give us a like, give us a comment. If you've got a resolution you want to commit to, share it with us. We'd love to hear some of those bonkers New Year's resolutions as well. I love people that are a bit out there with things. But yeah, please give us a like, please give us a subscribe, and we look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
If you or someone close to you needs to access mental health support, please contact your GP, or if it's out with normal office hours, get in touch with NHS 24 on 111. Alternatively, contact the Samaritans on 116 123. All calls are free of charge from any phone. You can also find more support information on the Tickety Boo website, ticketyboopodcast.co.uk.